And it's true that every breath manifests for us the profound truth of anicca, or impermanence. We don't have to go further than this breath. For the ultimate education in letting go. We discover rather quickly also that the mind has a mind of its own and it likes to wander. Please don't start a fight or a war with the wandering mind. There's no need to stop it, though in time it will sometimes stop. Instead of battling to stop it, we simply wake up to it. It wanders into the fields of the past and the future, fantasies of all kinds. The mind may well present you with impulses, longings, thoughts about wanting something. Wanting a different meditative state, wanting breakfast, wanting your life to be different, wanting something. The opposite pole is wanting not, disliking, aversion, hatred. It can be very tiny and very large, life-changing. And so we learn to observe these two great causes of suffering. We learn to modulate them in our life, wanting and not wanting. The mind may present with restlessness and agitation and worry. Obsession. We don't need to fight with this. It doesn't help to fight with it. It's more of the same. But there's a way discovered by the Buddha that we up-level the game. We somehow or another take off the costume in which we believe we are that restlessness, agitated, worried mind. And we see or know or intuit our freedom from that. This may happen just a moment at a time, but it will grow. And sometimes there's sloth and torpor and dullness. The mind wanting to go back to sleep, or just not focus on anything. And this too we both befriend and recognize as not self, not mine, not me. And there's sometimes doubt. Doubt which is the practice killer, doubt which will keep you from your cushion, doubt which will have you turn yourself toward trying to feel contented through other means. Seeing doubt for what it is allows us to seek the company of good friends, to come and sit anyway. To do the challenging work of staying in your seat. Come home, let us come home to ourselves. To the breath that comes and goes. And everything else that appears in mind. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Or perhaps better, letting be, letting be, letting be. There really only is ever this moment in meditation and in our life. It's through memory and imagination that we create the past and future. And this can be an interesting thought, but it's even more interesting as an experience. To notice the very first beginning of the breath. To notice as the body begins to inhale. And with just a little memory, you can notice, well, this beginning didn't exist a moment ago, and now it exists. And then the beginning turns to rising or expansion. Eventually, it gets to fullness, and the beginning is gone. It's been gone for a long time. And then that point of stasis is gone, and then there's breathing out. And it's not that we have to breathe it, it breathes itself. And then at the end, the beginning and middle are long gone. They came into being and then they went out. And in this way, we inhabit the present moment. We inhabit now. And in this inhabiting now, there's nowhere to get to. There's nothing to achieve. We are already home. And now may be pleasant or unpleasant. It might be pleasure or pain, or sort of neutral, or no opinion about it. And that too arises and disappears. As we rest in now. And let us remember the beautiful teaching from Ajahn Chah that any time we wish to bring our practice into perfect balance, to remember the simple words, it's like this. This moment is like this. This requires no self to be wanting things to be different somehow. It's just like this as it is. It's such a relief as our meditation becomes a willingness to awaken in the present moment. No matter how pleasant or unpleasant it is. In a few moments, there will be a gong. The first gong is kind of like a wake-up bell. Wake up. Wake up. There will be a few more breaths before the second bell. And then with the second bell, noticing the life in the hands, in the arms, in the jaw, in the cheeks, in the face, in the eyes. And then doing whatever is required to let the eyes open. I think I can share the picture with you now. See if it'll work this time. Yes. We have these emotions that come with us. They're rather heavy, aren't they? Heavy looking, anyway. All right. Making room for whatever arises. It's the way home. It's the way to be free. The more we allow there to be room for whatever arises, there's no need for a self that makes commentary and makes it complicated. It's just what it is. So I would like now to invite any sharing, any further opening of the space of the heart between us.
Robert, this is
Hadley, hello.
When I'm studying the Dharma and intending to be a great student of this Dharma practice, when does that cross over into selfing and making a self? Is there a clear statement you can make about that? Do you see what my question is?
I don't know that I can make a clear statement about it, but I can say that I think it goes just the other way. We start with a lot of self. That when I came to the practice, I was desperate to get enlightened. I'm going to get enlightened. And then the question becomes really less and less relevant. And so I think the more we practice, the less selfing is done. And also insight emerges, and insights aren't something that the self has. Insights are the truth revealing itself to itself. And it becomes more and more obvious how things are just unfolding.
Thank you.
I think it really is interesting. It's funny the way these little tidbits stick that Ajahn Sumedho told of himself when he went to Thailand to ordain with Ajahn Chah. One of the reasons he chose Ajahn Chah was that the great master said to him, college graduate, American, blah, 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 yes, you can come and practice here, but I'm going to treat you exactly the same as I do the Thai monks, so don't expect special treatment. And also, no books for 2 years. It was maybe it was 3 years. It was a long time. No books, no study. Because, and he went on to say, because the Eightfold Path is in you, 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose, a tongue, a feeling body, and the mind that walks the path. There's a lot of people who do much more study of Dharma, who read lots more books than ever sit down and meditate. I've met people who are way better educated in the Dharma in terms of the reading than I am. I mean, 10 times as much. It isn't necessarily so, but in several instances they've been very uptight and anxious, and because they never stop to investigate their own heart, their own emotions, their own. So the books are useful, the map is useful, the models are very helpful, I find. Hence, I make those linear models because they help me. But stopping, investing each moment of each day in awareness is I think, the way.
Morning, Robert. It's Randy.
Hello, Randy.
Hey, I have a firefighter, first responder friend who used to be my workout partner for many years when I lived in Indianapolis. He's more of an introverted, traditionally stoic American guy. Guys that show emotions, guys that cry, that kind of stuff. He reached out to me yesterday seeking some help because as a first responder, he has seen some really horrific things,
Mm-hmm.
car accidents, burnings, and stuff. And he wrote extensive texts to me about what he saw. Basically, he was reaching out because he goes, I'm. His words were, "I am officially effed up in the head."
Mm.
And he is going to. He just started going to therapy. Now remember, he's a very traditional kind of guy with emotions. It is a tremendous. In the fact that he reached out to me for this, because he's been noticing my mindfulness practice, that kind of thing, is I take it as a blessing, but I am vastly ill prepared
Mm.
to help him. If he's the kind of guy that I'm the only one who would let him.
Yeah. Mm.
So, tips.
You you,
I
re-
need
you
help.
you remind me of something that I meant to mention before, which is that in the chat there are 3 links that I put in. The first one is how to access PIMC and to contribute financially to the support of the center and the programs. The second one is um, a link to an interview that was done of me by a really fine interviewer, Rob Orman. He does online education for ER docs mostly, and so that was his slant a little bit. But your friend might listen to that. That might be helpful. And then the third thing on the chat is a reminder about Candle Summers Sunday nights, twice a month. So back to your question specifically, it's the human mind is this human mind anyway is so strange that when you were I thought I could tell where you were going with the question, and the mind was singing how to handle a woman, da, 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 that whole thing from what Camelot. But the finishing line of it is to love her, merely love her, simply love her, love her, love her, which of course is what we all need. And so to love your friend, to listen as best you can. He's suffering. He's probably got serious PTSD. I mean, that's a very difficult profession. And there's little recognition of the price, the psycho-emotional price that they pay. Police officers. This is probably worse now, but it used to be police officers had an 87% divorce rate. Now that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Pretty tragic. So to be with him and listen, and if the doorway opens to share something of meditation with him, lovely. But just your presence with him will be of great importance.
He's asked me specifically to share some things to help him ground and
Great.
help him get some of those nightmares out of his head. Again, I am ill prepared, but I can definitely help him with some of the things I've learned. Is there anything in particular?
Oh, well, there is the thing that whenever I talk with beginners, and for that matter, whenever I talk with almost anybody, and I implied it today in the guidance, I always say, remember that the goal isn't to stop your mind. Because he's going to really want to stop these nightmares and this bad feeling. And he's not going to succeed at that. But what he might do is, if he uses his breath, I would say chest and abdomen, and maybe put his hands on his chest and his abdomen. But if he uses that as his home base and he comes back to the actual feelings of that, and then notice when his mind goes goes anywhere else, that that's tremendous success. That to not create another obstacle, which is I'll only be succeeding when I've shut down these horrible memories and thoughts and feelings. Now, it's going to be hard for him to meditate because as he does, I put up this silly picture of emotional baggage. He's got extra emotional baggage now, and the way out of that is through it. Is to feel it and grieve it and possibly change his job. I mean, it's huge. So for him to learn how to do really a concentration meditation, focus on the breath and come back to the breath and it's the actual sensations of the breath. Oh, and he might add in a mantra like, may I be happy? May all beings be happy? Or calming my mind, calming the mind, calming the body, in and out, calm mind, calm body. And he might use beads if you could get him that far. Have a mala. You can send him a mala or give him one, and not as a religious icon, but as a technology of consciousness. So that breathing in, breathing out, may I be happy, may all beings be happy. Bead. So as to tranquilize the mind, to get different parts of the brain in synchrony with each other. And you might give him my book if he wants to read something. Pretty approachable for ordinary Westerners. How lovely that he has you.
Yeah, I was traumatized with what he wrote me. Like, just by him texting me, I could tell he needed to get it out of his chest. And it's like, wow. I mean, I was traumatized.
Yeah, you might not read it all sometimes if he sends a lot of that, because you don't need the details. That's one of the problems that we have with the news media. I mean, they take us to the site of the latest catastrophic thing that we humans are not really built to adapt to. And in his case, he's called to the latest horror, to be there, not so. And it's a noble calling. I mean, I have students who are ER docs or work in the ER in some other capacity, and in some ERs they see it all there too. It's quite to see the human body so badly damaged as they do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Robert.
I hear a voice.
Yes, it's your friend Patty from Wisconsin.
Hello, Patty in Wisconsin.
I decided to try and join the group live.
Good.
And I'm looking at these beautiful faces, and I want to thank you. I'm in Wisconsin, and I've been a visitor. I've been following you all pretty often for a lot of this year. And I know that you probably don't think much about the people out in YouTube land or whatever that are in on your stories and your tears and your laughter. And as valuable as your teachings are, Robert, and they're very valuable, I want the Sangha to know that you have been as grounding as Robert's teachings, because when I go off spinning that, the way we do, and I listen to what you say, I think, we are so much alike. I'm not the only one out here in rural Wisconsin, feeling schizophrenic between the beauty I hear on the cushion and what I want in my heart, and then I walk off in the world and I go, So thank you, Sangha, for being brave enough to let other people that you don't even see hear your story.
Mm.
I have felt very connected.
Thanks, Patty. I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We need each other.
Robert, it's Pamela.
Hello, Pamela. How you feeling?
I'm much better. I've had my first shot and got over that, and I'm doing great now. So
Great.
yeah.
Hooray.
But I have been working on getting back onto the cushion instead of in a chair.
Aha.
I'm wanting to go back to the cushion, and today I was on it, and I do it kneeling rather than sitting. And I was as restless as I have been in a very long time. Could not stay still for a moment. Finally realized it hurt. I was uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
And I couldn't relax. And finally gave up and sat in my chair. And I found it, I want to, because I think it's better for my back to be sitting up, being on the cushion, but do you have any suggestions? And it was just interesting to watch my mind. I mean, I wasn't in tune with my body at all. I was looking for things to distract me.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, it was just an interesting non-sit. And
Well, yeah, you could reframe it as a very successful sit in which you experienced discomfort, pain, and the various methodologies, and that's not the right word, but the various strategies that you have to be unconscious when there's pain, to get away from it. And if you want to, and if you're drawn to sitting on the cushion, then you might do it and do it with sort of like a vow sitting, which is, I'm going to sit here and not move for 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever length of time. And then observe the various freakouts that the mind does. And the bargaining and this is really stupid and whatever. And then if you're not hurting your body, and one of the criterion for that is that when you get up, the pain is gone in a few instants. But if you're not hurting your body, you could actually decide to sit like that and allow the pain to become more and more conscious, and to then observe all the trappings that come with the pain, which is the stories and the disliking, and is he ever going to ring the damn bell, that kind of thing. And that was what happened on my first retreat in India. And then for some years after that, I struggled to sit cross-legged, and it never really worked for me. But there's no reason you couldn't do that, and it's marvelous training for those times when there will be pain that you don't have an escape from.
yeah.
But being gentle, being careful not to hurt yourself, and not to be too macho about it. But it can be very useful to. I know Achan, what was his name? I forget his name. It was in northeast Thailand. He died just recently. He was 102 years old. He had his monks who now, granted, they were 20-something males, so they needed special treatment. But he had them stand for as much as 10 hours. And they went, I mean, they had pain. And then they would discover that there was the pain, but they didn't have to struggle with it. It was just pain. So it was a very hot fire. And I had that experience. You've probably heard me tell my story, my kidney stones, that was a breakthrough experience for me to realize I could have that degree of pain and not suffer at all. So it's an edge to work, to play.
Okay. I'll try that. Thank you.
Oh, and also to be careful to not set it up that you then feel guilty and like a failure if you move to a chair. Because it's just posture. Now I'm more holy and I'm closer to enlightenment because I'm sitting on a cushion. I think that's not really helpful.
No, it's really about I feel better. My body feels better at the end if I've been kneeling.
Yeah.
It actually feels healthier.
And the muscles required for sitting unsupported develop over time. We do develop a meditator's posture, which is you get much more abdominal strength and yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, I just remembered something. See if I can find it. Yes. I also had this experience yesterday. Now, isn't that something? And then this. It's so cool. They all sing in their own beautiful little voices. Thank you, Patty, for that lovely sharing of gratitude and appreciation for the Sangha. I too am strengthened a lot by our being together and by this speaking truth with each other. It's powerful.
Hi, Robert. Hey,
It's Tim.
one of the things I realized that I've benefited from getting up to do this for the last year is I've experienced the dawn pretty much for the whole last year, which is pretty wonderful. Usually it happened when I was out backpacking or doing things like that, not necessarily getting up that morning, that early in the morning, but in the winter, it's kind of like, hey, we've only got 7 or 8 hours of light, and why sleep the first couple hours of it? So Janet kind of inspired me. She's a real early morning person, but getting up and seeing the dawn happen here in our home, it's just another. I mean, it's crazy with COVID. There's so many bad things about it, and yet this wouldn't be happening without that and other things as well. So yeah, there's this and there's that, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, I'm very much in touch with the change of the light. You know, it's pretty bright out there right now. And a few weeks ago, it was dark at this time. Maybe there's hope yet. The crocuses say there is. I have a language question. What is the plural of crocus? Is it crocus? We tried croci, and I don't think that's right. It's a very important question.
Good morning, Robert.
Hello,
It's
Joe.
Joe.
Hi.
I believe it's crocuses.
Crocuses. I think you're right. Crocuses.
I'm faced with a wonderful thing, and that is the idea of contentment. I have felt for the last 4 weeks that spring is coming way too early, and there is way too much to do. And I have all these fruit trees to prune and all these things I wish to do. And right smack dab in the middle of all these things that I had given myself to do, I had hand surgery. And now I am sitting and I am being.
And you
And
can't.
I am watching spring happen.
I see.
The picture of the flowers reminded me that as much as I love to stop and watch them bloom, that it is enough to just be content with where you are and what you're doing and enjoy the show. And I am faced with I don't get to do what I feel I must do, the wanting to do, and to accept the way things are. This is what is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be soaking up the sunshine and enjoying just being rather than looking around with this needs to be done and that needs to be done.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, my extended 2 months at least recovery after my brain surgery was an incredible blessing. I mean, at 2 or 3 or 4 weeks into it, I opened my computer thinking I would do email, and I simply could not tolerate it. It was like, ugh. And it changed my life, really, in a very positive way. So congratulations. How's your hand doing?
It's fine. It was a minor thing, and it wasn't incredibly invasive, and it just, just like my trees, it needed to be done.
Uh-huh.
So like me pruning the trees, I had my fingers pruned through.
I see. Are they shorter?
No, they're just as long, but they're not as sticky anymore.
I see. Good.
Thank you, Sangha, and thank you, Robert.
Mm-hmm. Well, anything anybody would like to share before we go? Tuesday morning, the 2nd of February, March. Does anybody remember our first day last year? What date it was? Dave Mayer, I expect you to know this kind of thing.
I was just searching my memory. I don't think I actually was involved in the very first one. I came to it a little, like a week or two later, but it would have been middle of March.
Yeah. It's a traceable moment, certainly, if one cared to do it.
Sure. You probably got the record in your Zoom someplace, Zoom account.
Oh, that's probably true, yeah. I was thinking when the state ordered the shutdown. But anyway, doesn't matter. We're here now.
I found the middle of March, I was putting Monday morning meditation into my Google Calendar. But I don't know whether that's when it started or that's just when I got formally committed.
But a whole year, a year of our lives. The first year of the regular morning online meditation. I wonder how many there will be.
Robert, I just want to say I'm now involved in some work. It takes me out several days of the week at this time, so I've been missing over the last couple of weeks and will be for a while. And I am so feeling the absence of this daily Sangha and the meditation. It has made a difference, huge difference for me.
Well, I've missed you. I've been, when I take attendance, I've noticed you weren't here, so.
Yes, I can feel the judgment.
Right. You're not going to get your signed copy of the middle-length sayings from the Pali Canon because your attendance has not been perfect. Actually, your devotion to the Dharma is inspiring to the max, to tell you the truth.
That's powerful to hear. A big part of me doesn't understand what you just said, but thank you.
Let me say it again.
You can use the same words.
No, I have watched you over years, a long time, dive into the thick of it and really open up into what's true for you and for human beings. And that's very inspiring. It's encouraging. It's like, yes, all right. If David can do it, I can do it too.
That's funny. I've been thinking if Robert can do it, I can do it.
I know. That's how we help each other. It's true. Yep. Well, shall we sing?
Thank you for saying that. That really hit me in a place. That was really important here. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I'm glad. And just the facts, ma'am. Right? It's just the truth. So please unmute yourselves if you'd like, and we'll sing our way home. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all of your journeys be happy today. Be mindful.
You will all.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jess.
Bye-bye.
I
Bye.
don't see David here today. Be well, be well, be well.
I think he left earlier.
Bye, Francine.
Good morning, all. So grateful to see you day after day.
Bye, B.
I had with Sharon Francine.
Thanks for the music this morning.
Bye-bye. Lovely to be with you. Goodbye, dear friends on Facebook and YouTube. We had a little bit of a rocky start, but then it hung in there. So take care. May you be mindful.